Hey guys, and welcome to the Good Old Days podcast. My name is Leah Byers. We're doing our podcast a little differently today because we're over Zoom, and we're going to be interviewing Richard Gomez. Say hi, Richard, for
Hello.
the
Hi,
for
everybody.
the audio people. We also are recording this so you can see it on YouTube. Um, Richard is a close family friend of mine. I'm not used to calling you Richard though. I always call you Nino, so that's like weird to me. But yeah, I'm excited to like hear about your life. You already sent me some like backstory of everything. So, and it's a really like crazy story where you are today now. Like, is that crazy to look back at your childhood and then look at you in the video? He's in an office with a suit on and everything.
Yeah, I would have never imagined I would be sitting here today. If
Yeah.
I look back 50, 60 years ago, no.
Yeah. And why don't you tell everyone like what you're doing right now? Like, what does your life look like? What does your life look like right now?
My life is I run 4 companies. I'm the president and CEO of the companies, and I have about 210 employees in all the 4 sites. And we have offices in Torrance,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have an office City of Industry and one in Riverside. And in Torrance, we have two divisions. One is where I'm at, and then next door to us is the installation company called N1. And
Okay.
we're in the industry of supplying cubicles and furniture and uh, electronics to most medium and large companies in Southern California.
And did you start all of these companies?
I've started all of them from scratch.
Wow. CEO of 4 companies. That's crazy. You are must be very busy.
I have a lot of teammates that help me, and
Yeah.
we have my whole life is athletic, so I have a team concept, and I hired a bunch of great kids and developed them into what they are today. The team has been with me for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and when I sell a company, they always come back.
Yeah. You
Uh,
probably also like you've trained a lot of people to like change their life too. Like give them what
so,
you have
yeah,
in
they've
ways.
been with me for a long time, so I've seen their families and their growth, and yeah,
Yeah,
we've
that's
been.
cool. Yeah. Well, we're gonna start from the beginning, beginning. So why don't you tell us, first of all, I'm sorry, I'm gonna expose you, but when were you born
I was
and
born. Yeah, go ahead.
and where were you born?
I was born in a, a city right about 4.5 hours, no, more like 8 hours south of the Texas border, and it's called Santa Barbara, Chihuahua. And I was
Mm-hmm.
born in January 3rd, 1954.
Okay.
Uh, it's a small little ranch style of city, maybe 3,000 people at the most. It's a
Wow.
mining community.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad and my grandfather had a farm, and we owned 2 stores.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, we, killed a pig and cow and fed the stores. And my dad was a miner,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother was European. Uh, Her parents came to that town during the war, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, she was blonde, blue-eyed gal, and my dad, they got together, and we were there. So I was born in that town, and I was there for a few years until we moved to the next chapter in our life.
Yeah. And do you have any siblings?
There's 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
Whoa. Like 5 brothers total, including you, or you have 5 brothers
There's six
separate?
six boys and 2 girls.
Wow, big family. That's crazy. And were you all close together, like in age or like relationship?
We're all 2 years apart.
Oh wow. Yeah. And
Yeah.
What was your childhood like? Like, what was it like living there?
It was interesting. It was very primitive, like I told you in the past. We didn't have plumbing. We didn't have when I tell you all these things, I look back and I didn't know I was poor. We lived it was fun.
Hmm.
Uh, no lighting, no outside streets. So we played, we had a little team, we played with each other, and our house was out of bricks,
Hmm.
the weather was very difficult there because it was up in the mountains and it was a mining community and they had a lot of metal in the ground. So when it rained, the lightning would hit the earth, and it was very active, and uh,
Whoa.
life was fun. I mean, we played sports. I was a sports guy, and
Mhm.
I always had a ball or some kind of ball with me, and I was wanted to play. And I was 6 years old when I left there, so I was very young. A lot
But
of
you
Indian.
still, but you still remember a lot.
Oh yeah, well, I went there twice, and as I was growing up, one went back, and I have memories of the weather was a big memory. It rained a lot, and
Oh,
uh, it was almost dangerous living there. It was a lot of snakes, a lot of stuff like that. That was, you got to be cautious. And
yeah.
we had a lot of animals in our house. I mean, not in the house, but outside, chickens and pigs and stuff like that. And it was pretty active, but we had a lot of Indians work for us,
Mm.
and it was interesting. I still think about Chema and all these people that came through my life. And my mother was blind, so they were always in awe, and they see her and they bow, and it was interesting.
Interesting. Wait, so you said that there were a lot of Indians?
Yes,
Oh, that like
they live up in the hills,
was it
and
like a actual like tribe of Indians? Like a
tribal Indians. Yes,
oh
they
wow.
Armadas, they call them, and they spoke their own little language, uh, kind of a big Latin type of thing.
Mhm.
They spoke in symbols and stuff, but they liked us because we were very light skinned, and they would come over and they would help my parents in the farm and work there and so forth.
Wow.
I was only there for 6 years. My a funny story. My father was a huge Dodger fan, Brooklyn Dodgers back in the 50s, and when they moved to Los Angeles, the interest, 1958, the
Is the
interest of
Dodgers.
us moving to this part of the world was because of baseball.
Not for like a safer life or like opportunity. No, we're gonna go see the
Well,
Dodgers.
my mother was very involved in getting us out of there because she didn't want us there. She was very driven with education. That was
Mhm.
her deal, is trying to teach us and trying to expose us to different parts of the world. And she was very involved in that. And that's why my family is extremely successful. Not just me, all of them,
Mm.
and well for themselves in Southern California.
Wow. So, once you turned 6 years old, then you moved to Southern California from there?
No, we moved to Tijuana, which is the border
Mm-hmm.
town in San Diego area.
Mm-hmm.
My dad wanted to come to the Pacific side, and my father came first with my uncle, and he got hired by U.S. Steel, and it was in Fontana, I believe, and so he came first, and then he got his green card,
Mm-hmm.
and the plan was to get us into our immigration papers. So when we got into LA and he was making a little bit of money, we took a bus all the way from Chihuahua to Tijuana,
How
and
far is that?
well, it seemed forever because
Yeah,
it was
when you're
like,
a kid.
yeah, it's like 2 days of travel.
Wow.
Um, so we came and we stayed with an aunt in Tijuana, and my father right away bought a property, and we built it. He built it, and we built a house.
Mm-hmm.
In front of the house, we built a store,
Oh.
like a grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
more merchants, and we all worked there. And we started selling, tortillas and, stuff for the neighborhood
Mm-hmm. So
with the plan.
how did that work? Like you guys just moved to Tijuana and you just started building a house. Did you guys have like money to do that? Or you said that you weren't like super well off, but
My aunt owned the house next door.
mm,
The lot is Correo Suciate. The lot was there, and my father uh, uh, bought it from my aunt. This property. It wasn't that much. It was like maybe $5,000. I don't. It wasn't
yeah,
much.
nothing compared to
And
today.
I think my grandfather lent my dad some money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then right away with his U.S. Job, we started building this ourselves, and concrete, and just start slowly building it. And we built the store first. My mother worked the store, and we helped her,
Mm-hmm.
and then we kept building on the back, more bedrooms and so forth. But we lived there for not much. I mean, maybe 4 years. It took us about
Oh.
3 or 4 years to get our green card.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got our green card, we sold everything and came to the U. Well, my older brother Tom came to the U.S. because he was older, and my dad wanted them to start high school in
Mm.
the U.S.
Wow.
Then Vic came second, and they were helping my dad. And,
Gotcha.
and then finally, my mother said, "Okay, we all got to come." So we came, and we lived in East LA with my uncle for about a month or so,
All of you?
all of us.
Oh, that's a lot of people.
And my father rented a house uh, in East Los Angeles. I went to East LA, City Terrace Elementary,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the fourth grade, I think, when I got here. And right away, I got involved in sports. They had really balls. They had the fields were marked, so
Yeah, like fields, legit fields.
and that helped me because English was a factor, and
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't speak it. But sports, and I've always told this to people, sports, there's no talking. It just, you know what to do, right?
It's a universal language in a
So,
way.
yeah, so I was the kid that people wanted them to join because they can win. I can win, and I want,
Yeah.
and I did it. And I was pretty aggressive kid. So there was a Cal State Los Angeles right about 2 blocks away.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go over there and watch them play baseball, the college kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't afraid to catch a fast ball. So I didn't speak English, but I said I'll catch because they get tired of catching the catchers. So
Mm-hmm.
they gave me a catcher's man. I just sit there and just catch balls for the
Yeah.
players. And I became their bad boy, and I got really involved in that side of it. So it was my obsessiveness with sports that I became really good at baseball, and then I started developing my own little. My whole life's been about sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm shocked you didn't like go into some sort of sport as a career. Did you? Am I
Well,
forgetting
I
something?
in high school, I excelled in sports, and I did everything. I mean, I was a captain of the football team. I was the captain. I was involved in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But and it was painful because football. It's like any contact sport. It's your body takes a lot of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I did, but I was big. I was one of those. I was much bigger than my kid brothers. I was 6'3", 220 in high school.
Mm.
And for football, that was good. So instead of picking three sports, I picked one, and what I thought that was the best for me.
Mm-hmm.
I already wanted a scholarship. I wanted to go on and continue my education. I was really involved in how do I get myself better, and
Mm-hmm.
I was very disciplined when it came to sports. I was just like I tell my wife, I didn't go to dates. I wanted to excel. I was so
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with that,
Yeah.
and I got a football scholarship. Uh,
Wow.
is what I wanted. And then when I went to college, I excelled, and I captained the football team. And problem with college is the amount of injuries. and cast. I wear a cast every year. I broken this, broken that, and
Oh my gosh.
that that wears you. That wears me. So I realized, I can't live like this, and
Mhm.
so I made a decision my senior year that I wanted to move on,
Mhm.
and that's where my life, another change of life for me. It's a very impactful change. Um, it was my last day in college. I met a recruiter from a company called Xerox Corporation, and didn't know what Xerox was. And
Yeah.
the guy was very instrumental in getting me involved because he kept following me around for the whole. It was my last day of finals, political research class. I hated that class, and I said, I can't think about. I gotta go and finish my last. It's a 3 hour final, and he waited for me. And when
Wow.
I was done with the class, I had told my mom and dad that I want to go and visit my uncles and aunts that helped me,
Mhm.
and take a break. And I told the guy, hey, I'm not ready for this. I just got done. And he kept calling. He said, give me your number. Give me your home phone number. So I did. And he was very, very aggressive, calling me, asking for me. And that changed,
Persistence.
yeah, that changed my life.
Yeah. So
You know,
going back to like you in school when you came to Southern California, did you didn't know any English like
no,
that probably but you're still like wanting to do well in school. How did that affect school for you? Did you kind of just catch on really quickly or
well, in Mexico, interesting. In Mexico, the schools are very accelerated. And by the fourth grade, third grade in Mexico, I knew about Christopher Columbus. I knew a lot of histories,
Mhm.
Mexican side of the perspective and
Mhm.
history. And I was so far ahead of anybody here, because they teach you so much faster in the formulas, and how to divide, how to multiply, and all that.
Mhm.
And so when I came to school, I can see on the board that what they were doing is like I know the answer. So, and when I see Christopher Columbus' face, I know it's Cristobal Colon. I know it in Spanish.
Mhm.
Uh, the teachers were asking me, and I said, "That's Cristobal Colon," and that's not whatever, and
Yeah.
the names were different. But I kind of knew.
Mhm.
So I didn't know how to translate from English to Spanish, but I can kind of guess.
You
And
got by like
and
in
the
school
teachers, and
until
he went to City Terrace Elementary,
Mhm.
and they knew Spanish. So I read in Spanish like "Ese es Cristóbal Colón," and they go, yeah, okay. And so
You're right.
yeah, so they would kind of understood what I was trying to tell them because I knew what they were saying, but I couldn't speak to them.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
kid, when you're immersed into a language that you're forced to speak, it's easier.
Mhm.
Because there's no I wasn't embarrassed. I was just trying to communicate
Mhm.
the most what I knew, and I wasn't cautious. I would just I had no filters. I just say it.
Yeah.
And cheeseburger, and I said, I want a cheeseburger. And they finally, as I got older, I kind of tamed down and have better diction and so forth. But yeah, it was my brothers and I would talk a lot because we were the little tribe, little togetherness, and
Mhm.
we helped each other get better at it. We watched TV and Hobo Kelly and all the little cartoons and stuff, and it was so we learned from watching TV and all
Yeah,
the
TV helps a lot.
yeah. So we repeat it and we talked to it, and we talked. We made fun of each other, and we got better fast. I mean, really, within 3 years, I was really in it.
Yeah.
Uh, with no and plus my sports ability, what people wanted me to play. My people come over to my house and ask my parents, "Can he play in our team?" And they, mom, somebody else just came over and asked the same thing. I said, and I said, "Mom, I want to play with that team. It's better." And so anyway, we have a lot of that going on.
Mhm.
And my mother was so instrumental in us focusing on education.
Yeah.
We never had issues with drugs. She was very cautious who she would ask them to come over, friends, and
Yeah.
she would,
Instead of you going somewhere.
yeah, food. She's a great cook, and she will caution me and say, "I don't like that kid. I don't want you." So she would kind of be like the guardian of all of us, not just me, all of us, and make sure that we were hanging out with the right kind of people.
Yeah.
Very involved.
Yeah. And I mean, moving to a new country, not knowing anyone, you never know who you could get mixed up with. And with that many kids to be paying attention to, that's really,
Yeah, and in the '60s, '60s was a difficult part in Los Angeles because we had a lot of riots, a lot of people talking about diversity today. It was back then, it was even more because we had riots, we had people burning people's houses, and a lot of that going on. And my dad kept us together with, don't watch that, don't do that. That's nothing to do with us. It's not our battle. Don't get involved.
mm,
And we just kind of play with each other and in the playgrounds a lot, in
yeah.
sports.
Yeah, so one thing I've asked some guests who like experienced maybe similar things to what's happening now, like whether it's diversity or like political stuff, is like, do you see what's the difference between now and when you were a kid in LA? You were saying like it was worse back then.
Well, back then it was two things. I mean, there was when I recall, in the late '60s, there was a drug thing going on that was kind of a it was Vietnam. It was drugs, a lot of drugs in the area. Uh, I see friends of mine with bags with they put some kind of a glue that the models they make. It's this very strong glue, and they snip it. And we were always yeah, there was a lot of that going on. The Vietnam War was very involved, and there was a lot of kids, going to that, and young kids, 18, 20-year-old guys going to war.
Mm,
Uh, a lot of the peace, love, and all that stuff going on. It was it was interesting, and also the a lot of the riots in 1968 was a big, uh, I think Johnson signed the some kind of a racial thing. I remember that.
mm-hmm.
There was a lot of that going on, but my mom and dad, so said, "This is not our battle. We're here to do better." And they kept us grounded.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, especially, she was very involved in our lives, and she said the key to us is education. We have all the tools here. It's up to you. And she ingrained that in our heads that you want to excel. That's not going to help you. Drugs is not going to help you. None of that's going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Do better. Opportunity is tremendous here, and she preached that to us. This is a great opportunity. You need to go after it.
Yeah.
And every one of us, Leah, went to college. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, uh, my brother went to UCLA. My brother's a dentist. He went to USC. We were all going to school. I mean, and it wasn't about the money because we had no money.
Yeah.
We helped each other. If Hector needed a book for $60 for dental school, whatever, we pitched in. Here's
Mm,
$10. Here's $5, and
yeah.
we helped each other. And our goal was to be better, and we will do it for our parents because we adore our parents.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of this family unity, it
Seriously.
helps. And I was not going to let drugs or anything like that get in the way. When I went to work, I bring the money home and I said, "Mom, here's the money." And so I was always taught about giving back to my parents because they gave it all to me.
Yeah, and you wanted to do that. You're like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
made our lives like changed your life completely. And like
Well,
also go
yeah,
ahead.
they came to this country for us. They
Mm-hmm.
had a nice life in their little town in Santa Barbara. They were happy. Family was there. They left that whole thing for us, and I always had it in my heart that wow, because they left an environment that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was not what my mom wanted for us and
Mm-hmm.
my dad. And they left it for us. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Moving on to after, so you're going to school, right? Where did you end up saying you went to school for? You got a scholarship to?
I went to Cal Poly.
Okay. And what were you studying there?
I wanted to be political science.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I, well, in my own mind, I felt like I was a good communicator, and I was always I don't mind expressing myself and telling people my point of view. And, and if I don't agree with it, I say I don't agree with that. And this is what I think, and I would challenge, and I would be speaking all the time. And when you play sports, I was always telling the guys, listen, if we go this way, that way, we can win. We can't win spread out everywhere. We need to be. So I was always in the team in a huddle, they call it huddle.
Yeah.
I was always saying, Leon, stay over here, move over here, and get
A
out.
leader.
I was always involved in trying to make it where we can have a better chance based on on the other team's strategy. I said, okay, I know what they're doing. Do it
Mm-hmm.
this. So I was always very communicative with my teammates to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I needed to be in an environment that I can learn a lot. Political science was one of those programs where if you read the paper and if you communicate with people, you kind of understand that subject matter. And so I take that. And the other thing with political science, that is one of the stepping stones to becoming a lawyer. And I felt like, you know what, I don't want to fight people's battle, but I think that's the best thing for me. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my goal, is to go into law somehow. So
Yeah. And and where did you go from Cal Poly?
so in 1970, I graduated in 1977, winter class 77, and this guy talked to me about Xerox, and I told my father, hey, I might look at this opportunity. I interviewed with a bunch of different companies, and it didn't appeal to me, but Xerox was interesting. It was
Mm-hmm.
a tremendous concept. It's a great corporation, and they were the leaders in their field. And my dad said, "Who needs a copier?" And I didn't tell my father. Well, and my father thought it was the State Department because I was political science major. I was bilingual. And
Mm-hmm.
my dad goes, I think it's the State Department. They're messing with it. It's you don't work for the CIA, none of that.
Yeah.
I thought about doing that,
Mm.
and because of my bilingual and Nicaragua was having some issues with the some stuff going on in South America, and so my dad said, you don't want to be a police guy. It's not going to be a good life, and he was anti to do with having a gun and moving around the world. And he said, don't do that. So
Mm-hmm.
when the Xerox opportunity came to me, I thought it was interesting. And so I joined Xerox Corporation in 1960, 77 when I graduated,
Mm-hmm.
and in downtown Los Angeles. Um, it was perfect for me.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of young people, and I was there for 3 months in Xerox downtown, and they sent me to Leesburg, Virginia for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Taught me the professional selling skills. I wear a coat every day because that's what Xerox taught me. The dress
Yeah.
for success.
You
Uh,
even from the beginning, you're bringing the things that from your first job into your life. I'm sure you use a lot of that beginning
yeah,
that you
they
learned.
they molded me. It changed my life. They molded me into a business person. They taught me the basic skill sets of how to start a business. They taught me the financial fundamentals of business, benchmarks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I was there for 7 years. I loved it. I traveled a lot. I won every award there was. The salesmanship. I I had just got married
Mm.
in '84, and I realized that I can't I can't be in control of my future. In 1984, I told my wife that I was gonna leave Xerox and start my own
Start your
enterprise.
own
And the idea behind that, Leah, I wanted to do when I was young. And I did well at Xerox. By then I owned a house. I
Mhm.
bought a house in Manhattan Beach. And then so she didn't like the fact that I was leaving, starting over. We just got married about a year before that in '84. And I said, I got to do it now because I got to go for it.
Yeah, that's a big step too because you're like secure, you have a good job, you just bought a house, and then you're like, I'm gonna leave and start my own business. Could have
Yeah,
gone wrong. It could have
I
gone
didn't even
wrong.
think about what her perspective because she's going, "Oh my God, what are we doing?" And and I owned a house in Manhattan Beach, and I was doing very well. I bought her a BMW, and I was doing successfully financially very well. But I didn't like the fact that at Xerox, there was a good friend of mine. His name is Don George, and he was being transferred. He was old. He was 63, great salesman. I learned a lot from him, and they transferred him far away. So he quit.
Mm,
I said, that's how these corporations do it because they can pay a knucklehead like me much lower salary wise
mm.
under a while. So they're going to pay him, they're paying him a lot more. So they moved him out far away.
When
He
they
lives,
know he doesn't want to move.
yeah, he lives in Sherman Oaks. He's
Yeah.
60 something.
Mm,
They offered him a package and he took it, but he was not happy about it. And he told me what happened. I said, "Yeah, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to
mhm.
be in a situation. I want to be in control of my future."
Mhm.
With that concept, I said, I can do my own. So I was very well known at Xerox, and the senior vice president and another, my branch manager approached me. I was in Hawaii on a what they call an award travel. They
Mhm.
the top performers they take you to Hawaii or whatever and spend a week just relaxing and they give you everything dinners um, and so it was called the President's Club and they came to me in Hawaii with a Japanese fellow and said we want to talk to you aside, don't tell anybody, and we started our own company. And I left Xerox Corporation in 1984 to start Ameritech. That was my first company. I was 25% owner of that.
Mhm.
And and I felt better because if I leave with them, I have I can learn more from them.
Mhm.
So I left Xerox Corporation in '84 to start my own company. Right
Is
after
this
I got
is yeah. Is this one of the companies that you own currently?
no.
Okay.
So '84 we left. I started it and we took off. I was doing very well. I took this is back in the '80s, Star Wars, Ronald Reagan. Um, I live in Manhattan Beach, so El Segundo is right next door. It's the mecca of Aerospace Corp. And I would get there at 3 in the morning and sold copiers to them. And I was very successful with them. And I told my partners, 4 years, I want to be my own owner. I don't want to be in partner. They were older than me. They were, Jack and Tom were, I was in my early 30s. They were probably 55 or so.
Mhm.
And no disrespect to them. I said, in 4 years, I'll give it all I got. And then I want to start my own. So in 1988, I left their company and they had to sell it because I was so much, I'd driven so much volume through there. They sold it to a
Mm.
company, Icon now today. And so they rewarded me with some money and I started my own. My first company was called Modern Business Automation, MBA, Modern Business Automation. My wife was a receptionist, and we had
I didn't know that.
little playpen with Sarah was in,
Oh my gosh.
and that's how we started. Just me and two employees, and I blew it up.
Wow. And what was that company like? What did you do?
We sold copiers.
Oh, okay.
It's called
And now
Modern.
you've expanded to like all office
Right.
supplies. Even like
I sold that company, Modern Business. I grew so fast. I bought four competitors. So I grew it in the Valley and in Irvine, and I opened 4 offices and I bought my competitors. And then in 1994, I came up with the weirdest deal. I had a brain tumor.
Hmm.
I had a brain tumor. I don't know.
Know this?
I had a brain tumor, and I was having difficulties, and I needed surgery. And I was at UCLA Medical Center, and uh, anyway, so I had a big surgery, and I didn't feel comfortable. I had a little girl and my wife, so I sold the company in 1995 to a company called Danka Industries,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 30, I don't know, 30, 30 something, 37, I think, and I got a lot of money for it, and I had to get my life in check, and I wanted my wife to be comfortable because she was worried about me.
Mm.
And whenever I go in these deals, I work 15 hours a day. I get involved.
Yeah.
So I sold it in 95. They gave me a 3-year contract. I became the president of the company, and it wasn't me. I didn't like it. And in 1987, the CEO of the company became a really close friend of mine, and he said, "You know what? You're not happy." I said, "No." I was traveling a lot,
Mm.
and I don't like to travel without my wife, without my family. So I was going to Florida a lot, and I didn't want to travel. Chicago, Texas. I didn't want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I left, and I took 2 years off, I think, and I got my health in order, and I thought so. In '88, I started another company.
You're just starting a company like left and right.
I was 1998. I started Contact Office Solutions.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question, like for any maybe listeners who are, because obviously leaving a stable job like you had at Xerox and just going on a whim to start a new company, there's a lot of risks in that. Like if it fails or if you end up, making less money and not being able to support the lifestyle you had, what advice do you have for people who maybe want to do that? And what even just like practical things in a business could they do? Could be very simple.
The basic why I succeeded a lot. This is my 6th company, by the way.
Hmm.
I've always been the sales guy. I'm the driver. I'm the hunter. I'm not afraid to open doors. I'm not afraid to go in that door, and I'm comfortable. That's the key to me. I can hire accountants, and I've always been one of those guys that like this company. I have a CPA on staff. I hire good people,
Hmm.
and I hire, but I'm the driver. I'm the engine. We sell a lot of volume, and
Hmm.
it's a sales guy
Sales.
brings the revenue, and accounting people make sure that it's built properly, that it's an inventory. So I have all the foundation, the benchmarks.
Hmm. Communication and like having that salesman like way of
Yeah.
speaking and negotiating and doing really well at it.
You also have to have the mechanics, if you sell a copy, you have to service it. You
Hmm.
can't just sell it and forget about it. You gotta take care of these clients. So I avoid lawsuits, I avoid issues. So I always have a good service department. I have a good, delivery support, dispatch system. I have a lot of different things that make the company successful.
Yeah.
And like today, not to just move forward a little bit. Every one of my companies, I have 4 companies. We are each other's biggest customer.
Hmm.
So arm of each company that has a sales force. But uh, for example, we don't borrow money from the bank. We
Hmm.
borrow money from each other.
Hmm.
Uh, and I have a CPA that oversees everything. And every company has a controller.
Hmm.
Every company, and then we have an HR department that handles all the companies.
Hmm.
So I try to uh, have we help each other,
Hmm.
and every company has their own financial statement,
Hmm.
has their own financial ID with the IRS. We have our own. We are together, but at the same time, we have our own financial statement,
Mm.
and we file our taxes separately, but it's owned by me.
That's it. That like reminds me of your family, like how your family used to help out each other. It's
Yeah,
like now your companies do the same thing. You like brought that into your career. So that's
we,
cool.
we, yeah, and they're big enough where I held my competitors.
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing last night because I lost the deal, but I installed it for them. So
Mm-hmm.
my competitor hired me to install the deal that I lost. So, and I've been doing this for so long that I know my competitors, and we 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 compete, but it's not a vicious. It's not a, if I win, I call Bob and say, "Good job, you got it,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna install it for you. And we have
Yeah.
a lot of installation teams. We have a lot of teams. We have a lot of employees here,
Mm-hmm.
and we install most of our competitors' stuff, furniture-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so in business, it's a healthy environment for me. I don't, I give it all I got, and if I lose it, I call my competitor, say, "Good job, man, did a great job."
Yeah.
And same thing with me. I don't have a problem, and sometimes they'll call me, "Can we partner on this one?" Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that's how I ran my companies, where I avoid lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
I get in front of it. If there's a problem, what's going on? What happened? Did we do something wrong? Can I help it? How to fix it? Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I try to simplify it,
Yeah.
simplify as much as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
think a lot of people who are wanting to figure out it's not only just like starting a business, it's also being a good leader and a good communicator and like person to your team and a good competitor too. So,
the whole key about having a company, I'm a good example of how to do it without. I'm not. I don't work from my home. I'm here.
mhm.
I'm involved.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
Teaching them. Well, this is, if you do it that way, it's going to be that way. Do it this way. It's better because it's better. It's a win-win for the client.
Mhm.
They get a better bang for their money. At the same time, we get a revenue. Our models, it's revenue driven.
Mhm.
Um, I don't kill. I don't do one thing and kill that client for all the profit in one thing. I do a lot of things. Most of the things that we do are either, if we do the furniture, we do the cabling, we store the furniture for them if they overbuy or whatever, if they have too many of that. And we do
Mhm.
medium and large. We do big companies. We do gas company. We do Abbott Labs, Quest Diagnostics, County of LA. We do big clients.
Mhm.
That's where we hang our hat. I'm too expensive for a little guy because my employees have been with me for a long time and they get paid a lot. And
Mhm.
I was telling them, we're not for you. I mean, we're too expensive.
Mhm.
If you have a two-man shop and you're looking for something, we're not the right company for you. But
Yeah.
when you have gas companies and we also have pre-baiting wages or union.
Mhm.
It's up to you. What do you want? You want pre-baiting or a union? Sophie Stadium was a pre-union. They wanted to be union, so fine.
You
So
have a
we have
lot of options.
options, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
but we're not
Well,
for everybody.
mhm.
Yeah.
You seem to have a lot. You seem very like I know you obviously, but like you for someone who's doing so many things, you really have a lot together, even just like the calmness of how you speak and stuff, because
I'm old, but
you're
I
like,
tell
I'm
you this,
tired.
this is the time where Japanese companies have their fiscal year end. So what are you going to do? You're going to focus on Japanese companies, right? So, and
Mm,
go in July, June, state local. That's for the counties, cities, state. That's their fiscal year end. So you focus on
mhm,
the cities. So, and first of the year, what do you do? Well, companies are creating a budget for the year. And we talk about, maybe changing the environment in our offices, maybe relocating some stuff. We help them. We become a partner to them. And
mhm,
October is fiscal year for the federal government. So anything with GSA, anything with Northrop, federally funded companies, Jacobs Engineering, the bomb makers in LA, we go to them because they got a new fiscal year coming up. So I know, and how and what time of the year where we're in and what do we focus on. We don't
Yeah,
focus on.
you're not ever unsure. You know what's going on. You have a
Yeah, so
system.
we like right now we're doing a lot of Japanese companies because that's their fiscal year end.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're working with Sumitomo, we're working with a lot of that.
Mm.
And then we go into the county and city of LA. I mean, city of Compton. We're doing Signal Hill, Corona. So, so we're always in the season. What's happening right now? So,
Mm-hmm.
as an owner of the company, I have to drive my kids in that vertical markets.
Yeah.
One other thing I don't get in accounting. I don't tell my CPAs how to do accounting.
Mm.
Uh, my job is in my lane. What I stay in is sales.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the month, like today and tomorrow, on Monday, we will be discussing financial opportunities. We do the financial side for 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm involved in every company, looking at the financials. Do we buy a truck? Do we rent a truck? How do we expand? How do we make it better? How does the profitability based on our fundamentals? Do we buy a truck or do we rent a truck? Do we software, CRMs, and all these things that can make our business better?
Yeah. Do you
But it's
ever
not,
feel overwhelmed by all the things you have to do, or
no,
really?
because it's I listen to people and I make my decision based on what they're telling me, but I know because I've done it I've heard these
Yeah.
conversations forever. So
It's just easy for you.
yeah, it's as you get older in life, you repeat the same thing over. And I said, okay, we're not there. I look at cash flow. I look at this. I look at forecasting. No, we're not ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what they're saying. But I just said, okay, we will do it third quarter. We'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
know I can kind of tell, and I have a knack. When I go to companies, I can tell you how successful they are. I can see it just by looking at the flow of the business,
Mm.
and I know I can tell. I can tell. Well, that's not good for them, and I tell them, no, you shouldn't do that because that's not. And I know taxation. I know taxes. I know financial taxes, and I can help them. And say, yeah, you don't want to do that. End of the year, investment tax credit is 10%. This is going to help you. This
Yeah.
will this will lower your taxes. Maybe wait till December.
These
Maybe
are the things people don't think about, but you know all the little details of stuff. So I feel like you're a great mentor for like businessmen who are just starting off like when you started.
well they appreciate it because I tell
Mm-hmm.
them that and I tell them like engineering people start a business.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good sign because you need a hunter. You need to go out there and create the business.
Mm.
And but some engineers can do it. But I'm just saying, if you don't have the ability to go out there and meet and get a bunch of kids in and motivate them to go out there and get it, it's hard to be successful.
Yeah.
You have the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
now with the internet, I mean, if you don't do the SEO, if you don't do the internet, um, it's a tremendous sales ability if you know how to do it.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
anyway, so it's all these different things you have to think about and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And you're not overwhelmed. That's crazy to me. Um, well,
and give it all.
yeah.
When I play sports, if you win a football game, you enjoy it, but tomorrow it's another game, so you practice for the next game. And if you lose a game, I used to cry a lot. If I lost the game, I cry, and then okay, it's over. What's
Yeah.
the next?
Next thing,
So
yeah.
I don't get caught up. Okay, I gave it all I got. It didn't work out. Fine. What did I learn from it? Okay,
Move
boom.
on. Yeah. Do you have I know that you have a meeting, so we're gonna kind of move towards the end of this, but I have a couple questions to finish. Do you have any regrets in your life?
Yeah, this is one that I think about often. I wanted to, yeah, not to. I told my wife, she was, oh, I wanted to help my parents more. I wish I could have. I wish I'd done it more.
Mm-hmm.
I did a little bit, and I didn't do enough. I feel bad about that. I should have done more. And yeah, that's my regret. I
What sibling, what age or what order of siblings were you in? The
I'm
fourth?
I'm the
Okay.
fourth.
Okay.
Yeah, and my parents were well. I mean, they did well. I did help them. I bought them I paid their house off.
Mm-hmm.
I helped them financially, but I was so involved in my businesses, I didn't have a lot of time, and I could have done more for them, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do it, and I don't know why. And one of the things I didn't want to do, I didn't want to upset my brothers because I was over. I mean, I'm a big personality, and I'm always like, I don't care, just do this, do that, and I wanted to step back a little bit, but I shouldn't have. I should have just got involved and said, okay, I'm not doing it to hurt anybody. I'm just going to help them. And I wish I could have done that more. My
I
wife disagrees, so, but that's
Yeah,
me.
well, I was gonna say, I feel like you probably would, even if you did more, you would think you didn't do enough,
Yeah,
you know? Because you even at the beginning you were like, I owe them everything for the life I have. So
you're right.
it would never be enough, you know? But that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, any decade of life?
When I look back in my life, when you're 20, you got to try things. If something comes to mind, do it. They
Mhm.
can't. I bought a house when I was 24. And my dad said, "You're crazy." Well, you know what? They can't take it away from me because I will get another job if I have to. When you're 20, you got to try things. You got to go after it. And
Mhm.
I was happy when I was married. I owned a home, and so when you're 20s, if it comes to mind and if it feels good, try it. They can't. And then when you get 30, you tame it down a little bit. Now you have a family, and now uh, you've got to make more decisions based on a partner and maybe not as aggressive. Maybe you build on what you have. Um, and then when you get in the 40s, you, in my mind, I already had something, and I wasn't going to risk that.
Mhm.
I was going to build on it.
Mm.
And so I always wanted to make sure that my wife and my family was covered
Mhm.
financially based on my creative and crazy sometimes ideas. Because I know I made my wife worry because I'm obsessive when it comes to work. I'm very disciplined, and I know in my mind what I want. And she would see me get up at 2 in the morning with an idea, and I know that she'd go, "Oh my God, here he goes." And but I always said, listen, there's enough there for everything. I'm not going to screw. I never touch my investments.
Yeah.
Uh, and then when you get to your 50s, you got to have a nice foundation where, um, you don't take the risk that you
Mhm.
take. So my idea is when you're 20, you take all the risks you can
Yeah.
and go for it.
That's the time to do
Yeah.
that.
And then, you start developing, your risk factors. I have a lot of, I'm a risk taker.
Mhm.
I don't risk anymore, but I did take a lot of risk,
Mhm.
and it worked out for me. But
Mhm.
that's what I tell people. If you feel that it's in your heart, you feel it, do it.
Yeah.
And if you fail, you know what? It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Don't don't stop. Maybe do
Mhm.
do another one a different way. Maybe you learn from the last one.
Mhm.
I'm just saying the 20s, it's up to you to just take the shot, just take the
Mhm.
shots at it and learn from them. And obviously, um, I didn't want to in the 30s. I don't want to get my wife and my kids so involved in my risk taking, so I tamed it.
Yeah.
As you get older in life, you know where you're at and build upon what you have and keep going.
Yeah.
But all life is not about money. It's not about
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
I told you when I was a kid, I didn't know I was poor. I didn't know I was poor.
Mhm.
I tell my kids today, hey, if you want to be in theater like my daughter in piano, it makes you happy. That's what you want. Be the best
Mhm.
at it. Try to be good at it.
Yeah.
the best you can.
Mhm,
Um, so I did well in my world because I like what I did,
mhm,
and I don't go on deals because of money. I go on deals to win.
mhm.
Comes with it.
To win.
I don't think about how much money I'm gonna make. I don't. I do things with somebody in mind that they're gonna gain from it.
Mhm,
And it's a win-win. And but most importantly, I tell my kids, follow your passion.
mhm,
Don't put money next to it or stuff. Just follow the passion. Be happy. It's what makes you happy. It's the most
mhm.
important thing.
Yeah,
Um, don't talk about material things. Don't talk about, the cars and all that. Just it's not even important.
mm, yeah, that's
It,
true.
it's going to
Family
sleep.
and all that is
Yeah,
way
going to
more.
sleep thinking about I gave it all I got. You can sleep comfortably. I
Mm,
sleep well every night. I try to do all I got every day, and that's it.
that's great. Do you feel like you will retire anytime soon?
You know, that question, especially Susan asks me all the time. I don't work. This is not work. This is
Yeah,
fun.
you enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah, and I have a good team. I know that my employees probably worry about me retiring, but I couldn't get my son to join me. I couldn't get my daughter to join me. Um, but it's not work for me. I don't I leave when I want. I do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I want to help them get deals, obviously,
Mhm.
but it doesn't control my life. I mean, yeah. So I don't consider, but yeah, I know it's I would probably sell this company, and then I don't have a lot of hobbies. I don't, so it's gonna have to it's gonna change a little bit for me.
Gotta
Uh,
start picking up some hobbies.
I know I can.
Time.
I golf is okay. I mean, it's I get tired of it. I don't. Yeah, I like golf, but it's not.
Have you thought about playing pickleball? Do you know what pickleball is?
Last night talking about pickleball for like an hour. My
So
friends are
fun.
obsessed with it. They're obsessed with
Obsessed.
it.
Yeah.
And
It's
anyway, but
fun. It's really fun. I played last week and I was like, "Oh, I know why everyone's obsessed. You should start.
yeah,
This could
they
be your
love
new
it.
game."
They love it, and I'm gonna try that. But
You could have a pickleball court in your backyard.
I know,
You could literally have one. That
I
would be
know.
so fun. Have little tournaments. Okay, well, thank you so much, Richard. It was nice talking to you. I didn't obviously know a lot of that stuff, so it was really cool to hear all of it. And like for the people who are listening, who are, I mean, I'm literally like your daughter. I'm a music major. I'm a vocal coach. So business is not, I mean, I am kind of, I have my own business, my own studio, but it's not my strongest suit, so it's really interesting to hear everything. And then for those people who like love this type of talk, they're gonna enjoy this interview a lot. So thank you so much for taking time out of your 4 companies to have this little talk with me.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, hopefully I'll see you soon, Nino. Thank you
Okay,
so much. Have a good one.
bye bye.
Okay, bye.